Hello everyone. This is in continuation of our probability. So let's see some more terminology which are being used in probability. Event. It's nothing but the subset of a sample space. Here the example given is in a two coin tossing experiment. Whatever in the sample space we wrote the outcomes which are possible, all possible outcomes, that is heads, HT, TH and TT. Each of these are called as events. Right. So the next terminology is about equally likely events. So two or more events are said to be equally likely if they have equal chance of occurrence. Means if I calculate the probability for each of the event, it should be the same. For example, in a single coin tossing experiment, getting a head, if I try to calculate the probability of a single toss, you will get 1/2 or 50%. Same is the case for getting a tail also. Another example can be throwing a die. There are 6 different outcomes possible. For each outcome, for example, probability of getting a 3, it's 1/6. Even probability of getting a 6 is also 1/6. Likewise, for each of the outcome, the probability will be the same. So that's why those events are said to be equally likely. Because it has got equal chance of occurrence. Let's move on to the next terminology, which is mutually exclusive events. Two or more events are said to be mutually exclusive if occurrence of one prevents the occurrence of the other. Here, a single coin tossing experiments example is being given. Means I can also consider the example of here it is considered to be single coin tossing experiment, in which once after tossing the coin, if we get a head in that particular trial or in that particular toss, it prevents us to get a tail in it. Means in a single trial, getting a head and getting a tail, these two events are said to be mutually exclusive, because if one occurs, it prevents the occurrence of the other event. The next terminology is about independent events. Two or more events are said to be independent of each other if the occurrence of one is not affected by the occurrence of the other. Again, the same example of tossing a coin. Event of getting a tail while tossing a coin and event of getting a 3 while throwing a single die are completely independent of each other, because this is considered to be a different trial and that is considered to be a different trial. If both are happening simultaneously also, one particular event what is happening, it will definitely not affect the other particular event. So these two events means tossing a coin considered to be an event, or getting a tail in tossing a coin and getting a 3 in throwing a die are two different events, or I can say these two events are completely independent to each other. There are various approaches in probability. First one is the classical or mathematical or priori approach. The other one is statistical or relative frequency or empirical or posteriori approach. Third one is subjective approach. Let's see what are all these approaches. The first one, classical or mathematical or priori approach. Let's say that an experiment can result in m plus n equally likely, mutually exclusive and exhaustive events. Means the all possible outcomes are already listed, that we can call it as exhaustive events or exhaustive cases in the sample space. And each of that is mutually exclusive event. Means if one event occurs, it prevents the occurrence of other events. And every event has got equal chance. Means if I calculate the probability of each of the event, I will get the same result. In such a case, suppose if m cases are favorable to the occurrence of the event A and remaining n are against it, in such cases the definition of the probability of occurrence of event A is given in the form of a ratio numerator will have the favorable outcomes, which is M, and the denominator will have all possible approach, which is M plus N. In this approach, this is called as priori approach. Reason is, before conducting the experiment itself, I know what is the probability I can expect. For example, let's say playing cards. Playing cards without jokers, it will have 52 cards available in that. Suppose if I want to find out the probability of getting a spade while drawing a particular card out of those 52 cards, so then the probability can be set in advance, because we know there are 13 spades available in a pack of playing cards. That means the probability will become now 13 will be the favorable outcomes, which will be in the numerator, and the denominator will have all possible outcomes, which is all of those 52 cards. So it is 13 by 52 will be the probability. That can be simplified further as 1 by 4, because 13 goes with 4 times to get 52. So such type of approach, you call it as a priori approach or a classical or mathematical approach. The next one, which is statistical or relative frequency or empirical or posteriori approach. This is like your scientific experiments, wherein suppose if somebody is trying to invent something, they will not be knowing what is the probability of success of that particular experiments. So they will keep on doing the trials. So many number of times, means the number of trials may approach to infinity, infinite number of trials he may be doing. And how many times he gets the successes out of those different trials, if that is M, then I can say the overall, the probability can be defined as probability of A, considering that A as that particular event is equal to limit n tends to infinity, M divided by N, where M is your number of events A occurred and N is the total number of trials. The last approach is your subjective approach. So this approach, even though it is not preferred, because we generally prefer to go with the numerical data confirmation, means the data-driven things we always prefer, but still sometimes this may happen. For example, a marketing manager may have, let's say, under him around 7 or 8 people, and he has to depute somebody to approach a customer who, the customer is very stubborn, very arrogant like that. So he has to send somebody from this team who can very well tolerate whatever the customer says and pacify him finally to get an order. That time, he can't go by a probability approach, wherein he will choose randomly any one of those 7. That is not possible. So what he will do is he will use his previous experiences or beliefs, like who can very well go and convince the customer and get the order. That may be his approach, which is basically a subjective approach, because he believes in his experience, the past experience, and when he dealt with the different people, he can understand the characters of each of the employees under him. So he may choose selectively one person only. That means the probability of selecting that person becomes 100%, and probability of not selecting the others will become 0%. Such type of approach, you call it as a subjective approach. This approach is suitable only for sample size which is less than or equal to 10. Means if it is beyond 10, this particular approach is definitely not preferred. So when sufficient data are not available, this particular approach is the only way where you can get things done. So that is basically your subjective approach. What are the fundamental rules of probability? Suppose if we have a sample space wherein there are n mutually exclusive and exhaustive events, let us consider those events as A1, A2, and so on up to AN. Then any of this event, the probability can lie between 0 and 1 only. For all the events, the probability can lie between 0 and 1 only. And then if I add all those probability, the total probability will add up to 1 only. If any of the event, we say that it is 100% a sure event, then probability of that event becomes 1. in the previous example, the probability of that manager choosing a particular employee is a sure event, and probability of him not choosing anybody else is an impossible event. So such examples you can consider. Probability of a sure event is always 1, and probability of an impossible event is always 0. Right? And there is another concept, like when I say A, suppose if I am saying A denotes event of occurrence of an event A, then I can say A dash or A complement or A bar as event of non-occurrence of that event A. So that we say that complement of that. So we also call this A complement, A bar or A dash as non-occurrence of a specific event A. And that's probability is defined as probability of A dash is equal to 1 minus of probability of A. So we will end up this particular session till this. We'll meet again in the next video, and it will be a continuation of the same topic, which is probability. In case if you find these contents of this video to be of your choice, and if you feel that it is useful, I request you to like, share and subscribe to my channel so that you get your regular updates about my videos, whatever I am uploading. Thank you.